I'm so glad you could make it. Sit down, sit down. Oh, yeah. Oh, the band is gonna be awesome tonight. I dig it.
Hey, welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and I interview regular people telling real stories about their beauty industry journey. I know that what we do is fun and perceived as glamorous, so it's through sheer audacity that professional stylists and barbers are creating industry disruption in their own unique ways. I've spoken with business owners, industry influencers, educators, innovators, and so much more. We share beauty industry tips, tricks, pitfalls, cheat codes, and everything in between just to remind you that you're not alone. With Therapy Sessions, it is my sincerest intention that by sharing our unique journeys with the world, beauty professionals will be empowered to discover your own uniqueness, which is where your true superpowers lie. So relax, get vulnerable, get inspired, hit that follow button, and be empowered to discover and share your own unique power to contribute to this amazing beauty industry that continues to challenge us all to keep learning, keep growing, and keep reaching for the highest version of ourselves. I'm Auntie Hair Coach, and this is Season 3 of Therapy Sessions.
I'm so glad you could make it.
Hey, welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and I interview regular people telling real stories about their beauty industry journey. Today's guest is international educator, founder of Forever Curls Academy, and host of My American Vita podcast. Leysa Carrillo has entered the chat. Welcome to Therapy Sessions, Leysa.
Hi, gorgeous. What a day. Love being here and, of course, to connect with your audience. They can get to know me a little more, and I'm so happy to be able to share my story. I think we all have a story that we should share because that marks who we are today.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you for being here. So, for the people that are just getting to know you today, would you share a little bit of your origin story? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up? Where are you now? Tell us a bit about who is Leysa.
I mean, I grew up in a little tiny beach town in the island of Cuba. I grew up there. My beginnings was as a ballerina. So I did ballet all my childhood. Literally, I was somebody that didn't have too much fun. It was so much discipline. If I can describe my childhood, it was like that. A country with no options, not many possibilities. But at the same time, it took me to so many amazing places just because I became a professional dancer. So at the age of 17, I moved to the capital. And from there, I got cast to be in one of the biggest shows in Europe. And I traveled 17 different countries all around the globe. Till one day, at the age of 20, I was about to turn 21. We got a contract in Las Vegas, Nevada, in United States. But, that was something that no one of us expected. There is so many regulations for Cubans to come to America. Not to mention there is a lot of political backstories that some of you guys might know. So as soon as we got 60 visas, it was a big show between musicians, dancers. The story show was 60 visas to the United States. The Cuban government got really mad. They couldn't understand why we got so many visas. And at the age of 19, between 19 and 23, that's the age that all of us were, he told us that our future would be ending if we come to America, that we would never be able to perform as dancers or anything like it if we come to America, because that was like a bad idea. There might be something behind. they created a whole scene. Imagine we were scared, we were young, and it was the first time so many Cubans get a visa at once, right? There was Grammys nominations for Cubans on the past, Olympics happening on the world, and we always have problem to travel, but how was so easy for us, right? And they couldn't take it. So I had to leave Cuba. I didn't come back for 5 years. I couldn't see my mom, my dad. Back then, 2004, there was no internet in Cuba, no phones, nothing like that. So literally, when I say I didn't see my mom and dad for 5 years, that's what I meant. There was no FaceTime back then. Nobody had internet or computer. I came to America as a political asylum because we were trained by the Cuban government. So I had to escape the island basically with a backpack. And that's the only thing I remember. I got to Vegas and the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I think about Cuba, I don't know a lot about Cuba. And so when I think of Cuba, I think, of course, of Fidel Castro. What was it like growing up there for you?
I mean, it was different, right? And the reason I say it was different because the first country I traveled was Japan. So imagine
Mm.
from a third world country going to one of the most organized, clean. I mean, it was just my first experience with capitalism. I grew up with no auctions. In Cuba, the communist system is a trap. They make you believe that everything is for free, but everything has a consequence. Everything has a why, right? So everything is restricted by the government. There is no private businesses. There is nothing like that. So imagine a country where everything is run by the government, right? So there is no any private business. There is no way that you can turn around, right? Because banks, associations, companies, you name it, the smallest to the biggest is owned by government. I grew up like that. Later on, I think on 2010, when the internet came, they opened up a little bit and they did like small businesses and things like that. But as soon as the business is doing well, they shut it down. Communism is not something that I would recommend to anybody. That's why every time that I can speak to it, to America, especially when COVID happened, when everything was extremely controlled, I got really scared because I grew up in a country when everything is extremely controlled is not good, right? So that brings so much violence. There is no way that we can be equal, right? Doesn't exist, doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. It's been proven. So I grew up in a way that when I say no actions is like moving here, something simple like bagel, bread, and I don't know, tell me another one for breakfast. I don't know, you name it. For us, there is all.
Thanks.
No, but I'm saying like for us, we grew up with only one kind of bread. So I remember here in America, me just saying like, oh, can I have a bread? And they were like, oh, you mean a bagel? And like, yeah, bread. Like something like that. For example, simple things like that. It's just growing up with just one option, right? I didn't grow up eating any red meat. Just say like that. So the first time I had a steak was when I left Cuba. Like it's just everything is so restricted. Everything is so like weird in so many ways that you feel trapped in that bubble. And when you come out, you're a little traumatized. There is so many things that I have to work with myself through my traumas, right? I have trauma of not deserving. I have trauma with money. I have trauma with so many things because when you grow up like that, you don't think you deserve better. You don't think you can have a nice house and a good car because when you go back home to see your family, they live in a house that is falling apart. My dad used to have a car from 1977. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it was hard for me to have a nice car, right? Because he's like, oh shit, my dad doesn't have a nice car. Like, so it was really a lot of therapy for me to separate the life that I was having in the United States from my past. But growing up in Cuba, like I say, the way that I can easily describe it for you guys is imagine growing in a place that is no options. There is only one option for everything. There is one kind of milk, one kind of bread, one only national school of art. Like when I decided to be a dancer, I had to leave my house and live by myself at the age of 8, because there is just only one. So imagine only one school for the whole city. What about if you live 2 hours away from there? That means you don't have an option to be a dancer or what? So exactly that's what it is. So you either have to choose to be on the school and sleep there, or you're not going to be who you want to be. So that is the kind of thing. So you have to like be tough and grow up and become an adult really soon, because it's just the way the system works. So I live in a school, going home twice a month since I was 8 years old. I remember brushing my teeth, and I remember my uniform. I had drip of the toothpaste always. And I was like, I don't know what I cannot get it right. And it's because the sink, it was like in jail, literally, like a long, long sink where we always get there and brush our teeth. So I wasn't tall enough to reach. So that's why I would get it all over me. So every morning I would be wet.
Yes.
All my uniform. But all of us, just the ones that were a little taller, they would reach the sink, simple things like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting for sure.
I wonder what it was like. So you're 8, 9 years old. You've decided that you want to be a ballet dancer. You have to move away to go live at this school. And your parents, what did they think about this? Were they were okay with that, obviously?
Took them so long to decide. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie. Took them years and years until one day I used to imitate singers and dancers. And I have a rope, and I was spinning really, really, really fast. And I cracked a big mirror that my mom had. And that day she was upset because my dad and my mom were lawyers. So of course they want from me something like that, I believe,
Mhm.
And they were trying really hard. And in my house, everybody had to read a book every week. My brother used to read the newspaper every morning. So everything was super strict in so many ways, that I was the only one spicy, I would say. I was the only one that wanted to do things my way. And I say since I was little, I want to be a dancer. I want to be a singer. I just want to be in a show. They like, no. But that day, I think my mom came to realization. She's like, we have to let her go. This is going to be really hard. So I remember my mom would come. That's when all the relationship with my hair started. She would come once a week on Wednesday to redo my 2 ponytails. Because when you do ballet at the very beginning, they have different hairstyles. For the first 3 years, some style that is like 2, ponies on the top, like really tight. And I remember she had to come because I couldn't even put my hair down. My hands were little. I was little. So, and we have so much hair, so long. So I couldn't even do my hair. Not to mention that I would tell you that I would get all wet every morning just brushing my teeth. So I was so cute and little. And
You were little.
I had to have some responsibility. I had to make my bed. I have to eat whatever they provide. If you're hungry, you don't eat because you don't like it. There's no options. So I became so tiny and skinny the first year because, you're so used to the way your mom and grandma cooks. Over there, like I said, no options. So until my mom and dad would ask me, are you sure you want to stay here? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because they could see my struggles. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was mentally like super committed to.
Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, so you did not grow up wanting to be a hairstylist. You wanted to be a ballerina, you wanted to be a performer. And then you get your visa, you come to the United States, to Vegas, you said. How do we get from being a ballerina to being a hairstylist? That's not the same thing. How do we get there?
I agree, but remember, I was doing my hair and my own makeup since I was little. So I have abilities that you will be surprised. If I show you a picture of my friends before I went to beauty school, what I was doing on the hair, I did such an amazing job on my friends' weddings, updos. Like I would practice braids. I would go to YouTube. I would follow step by step, and we create beautiful, like, I think it was like, I don't know, minimum 5 or 6 of my friends' wedding I did before I went to beauty school, makeup and hair. So I know they had nothing to do with, but somehow a little bit. I work also not only on that show that I mentioned to you that I came, move forward in Vegas, the show closed, and I ended up on Cirque du Soleil. So Cirque du Soleil, there was a lot of hair pieces and wigs that were made for you, and I had to put those wigs every day. Then on that period of time, and I'm gonna get to your question, I was going to beauty school, so I became the person that we help the wig lady. So we have somebody signed up to do the maintenance on the wig. So you will finish the show sweaty, you will put it there, and she will like put it on the heads, she will brush it again, steam it, like she will treat them for you to have it the next day, right? So I became really close to her in a point that she would get sick or something, an emergency, and I would be covering her. So I would be working on the wigs and also performing. So for some reason, I felt like I got attracted to hair even when I was a performer, because it was hard for people to do my hair and understand my hair. So I have to take measures of myself and do it myself a million times. And then it's like my friends that were kind of like me, can you help me? You know, so it became like a thing, right? Oh, she's good at doing that. I was performing with Cirque du Soleil, like I say, and because my training was different. Here in the United States, because there is more options, right? Once again, dancers are more complete. So dancers sings, they do acrobats. Like I feel dancers here they do a little bit of everything. From where I'm from, if you a contemporary dance, you a contemporary dance. If you a ballerina, you do ballet, point shoes, you don't do jazz. I don't know. It's a little bit like that. So I ended up on the show business. And of course, when you're at that level that you're really good and you can kind of like perform in a way that you can fit any position, of course, I got experience, but I never was good at acrobatics or anything like that, right? But at the show that I did, I ended up doing a lot of silk, a lot of like pole, like steady pole, acro pole, things like that, that my body was working really hard on my upper body. Not to mention that it was only my upper body. I was pushing my body differently. Remember, this is somebody that is pushing the body professionally at the age of 17. So at the age of 17, I was traveling the world. I was sleeping in buses. I was performing. I was giving everything. So my body was tired. I'm 42 years old. So literally halfway of my career, I pushed my body a lot. So I started getting injuries. That's why I looked into hair. I was like, oh, I didn't even thought it was hair, right? So I went to college. I was so excited. And when I saw the prices, I was like, I cannot even afford this. Because I didn't go to school here. I didn't have any credit. So I had to start building credit and then start a career. Remember, this is somebody that moved to America at the age of 21. This is just halfway through. I was almost halfway of my 30s. Beginning of my 30s, sorry. Trying to do the math, but it's just like I don't have enough time to just start with. I need to make money, right? My people in Cuba are living off the money that I send, so I don't have the ability to be in college and like. So I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? Like, my friends at this time, I already was doing weddings and all of that. My friends, they're like, Lisa, but you're so good at hair and makeup. Why you don't do that? So I started working with MAC Cosmetics at the store, and then I went to beauty school because it was free. Cheap. I could afford, at that moment. And the schedule worked with my schedule because I used to work at nighttime in shows and stuff like that. So I went to beauty school because it was cheap. And I had to look for another career. My body was giving up on me. Like I have so many injuries and I was sore all the time. Yeah.
Wow. That's so far. Like you have an incredible story so far, and we like haven't even hardly gotten into it at all. Incredible. All right. So you decide to go. Well, before we go more into the cosmetology part of it, your hair is fantastic. Like your curls are amazing. Is this typical of a Cuban woman? Were there a lot of girls who had hair like you in Cuba?
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yes, there is a lot. And this comes from not having option once again. I've been natural since 2002. Wasn't even a thing. But the reason why is because beauty is a luxury there. So you either braid your hair or you let it be because there is no way that you can afford to get your hair done. So I remember the first time I have a haircut, like they trim my hair, they did a hat comb. I was 15 years old. Other than that, your mom, your aunt, your grandma, that's it for you. Like there is no way. The first time I experienced a facial, a manicure and pedicure was here in the United States. So literally, I was old. So I feel that is why if you go to the islands, you will see a lot of people with natural hair because it's not a priority for us. The priority is like what I'm gonna get for dinner. Your parents are hustling to put some sort of food on the table. They don't have money to send you, or you don't have money to go to a salon. So I have to understand my hair at the early age. Like I say, I live on my own since I was 8. And a lot of the girls like that, the same. If they don't have better hair or better looking hair, it's because they don't have products, they don't have sources. If I tell you what was my conditioner back then, you will like. If I tell you that I tried a conditioner the first time I was, I don't know, 10, 12, because my grandma was a maid in a hotel and she would collect from every bottle when she was cleaning the rooms, put it in an extra bottle, the little tiny conditioner or shampoo the tourist was leaving at the hotel to make a little bottle for me, right? And I would have this bottle with like 10 million little conditioners. I would put water, and that had to last me for the whole month. And not to mention that I used to put lime, like we have so many things. I used to lay my edges with just the leaf, the aloe.
Yeah.
My mom would give it to me in a bag, in a plastic bag, or in a newspaper, wrap it, and I would like list it. We had toothbrush, and I would just lay it. It was gel. That was the gel that I grew up using.
People still use aloe gel today.
Right? It's good. But it's funny because it's something between you choose to be natural, you choose to do something natural, or you choose to get the leaf and use it because I see so many things here in America like that. And like I say, I've been working so much on understanding and do a job without judging. But there is something like you choose to do natural products because you're more in the organic world. And there is something different between I don't have nothing else. That's the only thing I have. You know what I mean? So it's different when you see hippies that they live on the mountains. There is something that you choose to live on the outside and have, I don't know how you call it, like I don't know. I'm going out of topic, but you know what I mean.
No. I understand what you're saying, that as like in America, we're so spoiled and we can go like and put anything. We can go and buy anything and put it in our hair. And, people go and they make TikToks about it and, whatever. Versus being in Cuba, you're using aloe because that's the option, right? Not because you want to use aloe. Although aloe is great for your hair, right? But not because you want to, but because there's no other option. No, I get it. And that's so profound because, like I said, we're spoiled here in America. So we don't know what it's like to do without. So this is all very fascinating.
Yeah. And now I know this is out of topic, but I remember laugh so hard.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when COVID happens that you guys, I think it was a whole thing and there was a lot of like comedians talking about the toilet paper. Remember how people would go to the store and they were freaking out because there was no toilet paper. Mm-hmm. And me and my friends, we were laughing because we grew up with no toilet paper. Like you should wait until your dad reads the newspaper. He will read the newspaper. We will wet it a little bit. You soften it up, and that was you. Or if not, water and soap.
Yes.
Girls, water and soap. So I was like, Americans, water and soap. Why are you guys freaking out with no toilet paper? Just use water and soap.
Yes.
You know, like in my head, I was like,
in the shower, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we have like a little like, you know, a bucket with water, and we have like a little like cup, and that's what we have in the bathroom.
Yes.
You know, there is no toilet paper. Yeah, toilet paper is like, you know, to get it, but I don't remember in my head growing up and seeing any toilet paper. Not to mention that you go now to public restaurants in Cuba, even the airport, and sometimes you don't see toilet paper.
What?
So I always tell my people, hey, bring your own and put it on your back, or some white piece. Like I tell everybody that, because you might get to places where there is no toilet paper, and sometimes the employees steal it because, like I say, it's a luxury. So the same people that work at the airport, as soon as the manager or whoever put the toilet paper, they just like take it home. Yeah, it's funny.
Wow. Okay, so thank you for sharing Cuba with us. That's amazing. All right, so let's talk about, so you've graduated cosmetology school. Where do you go to work?
Oh my God, this is funny because I knew once again that I wasn't on my early 20s or something. I don't think I was late 20s or something. And the reason I want to just go backstory on this, and I can answer really quick the question, but I feel like everything is just going circles and has a why, right? So growing up the way I grew up, I always have my dad right here on my ear telling me the way I should do things. So my dad was a third generation. Was my grandpa? You was my grandpa. No, my great-grandpa was a slave. He came from Africa, my family from Congo. And my grandpa was born in Cuba and my dad, right? On the same house, that was next to the sugarcane fields. So Cuba was really big in sugar. So they would bring a lot of slaves back on the, I don't even know, early 1900s. So that's when my great-grandpa came. So my dad grew up on the hustle. My grandpa always worked on the sugarcane fields. And my dad has such a hard problems to go to school, right? Before the revolution, because Black people have to go in this way, whatever, that whole story that we all know, we all went through it because America has it, the same history behind. And because my dad has such a hard time to become who he was, he always told me, you cannot be stupid. You can be Black, you can be poor, but you have to be clean and you have to be really smart. And I wasn't into that. Like I'm telling you, we have to read books, we have to be on the newspaper, and I was the artistic, right? So in my head, I was, I'm justifying myself because I'm artistic. I like art, so I shouldn't be that smart, right? But he pushed me so much. He's like, no. That's not if you dancing, you have to know about this, you have to know about that. So every week we have a task. Learn about countries in the world, learn about history, like no matter what, if I wouldn't use it in my life, he wanted me to know it. And my dad used to walk 5 miles every day to go to school with his shoes on his backpack because he only had one pair of shoes, and he couldn't walk that much with those shoes because they would get ripped like in the first month, right? So he would tell me all these stories, how hard it was for him to become who he was. And he always said to me, you have to continue the legacy. No matter what you do, you have to not try. You have to be the best. I don't want you to win all the time, but you have to remember that if you don't try to be the best, you will never going to be. Because we have to work harder to show up and in spaces that maybe we're not welcome. So you have to be louder. You have to prove people who you are because they're not going to give you the credit. So my dad, not only he went to college, he became a lawyer, he became the sheriff of my city, the only Black man in history in Cuba that was part of the government. Then there was another guy bigger than him, but there was just two black big names on the Cuban government. And that was my dad. And imagine, that's a lot of pressure to grow up with, right? So I became a dancer, whatever. I think I achieved. If you tell any dancer to be part of like Cirque du Soleil, that's the dream from everybody. So I thought, okay, so I think I achieved my highest. So how can I transform this higher level into the beauty industry, right? Okay, if I'm gonna be a hairdresser, I just cannot be a hairdresser, you know? I have to do something that can contribute to the industry, can be bigger than me, the share, and the clients that are sitting there. So the reason I start saying this is because that was on my mind even when I graduated and I started looking for jobs. When I started looking for jobs, imagine when I went to beauty school, my English wasn't good. So this was 2007-8. My English wasn't good at all. Remember, I moved to United States, didn't speak English. I was a dancer. When you're a dancer, you know, in a hustle of hospitality, you're not speaking, you know, you don't have to express yourself, you're not selling, you just dancing, right? So I'm gonna blame it on my lack of maturity. I wasn't mature enough to understand that the first thing I should do was learn English. So I took my time. I learned English, I say on the streets because I was listening to music. I was looking at movies. That's the way that I was, I'm learning. Like I wasn't paying too much attention, right? Till I got to beauty school and I had to walk through that room, open that chemistry book, the Milady and all of that. And I was like, what the heck? I don't even know English that well. So I remember having this friend helping me. I would go home and that's what my obsession with education was, because I would go back home and I would revisit the whole book. I would open the color books and I would read everything that nobody ever reads. I would read it. I would translate it. I would practice, nothing to figure it out. When I graduated, I was looking for the best salon, to be honest. I don't speak English, but I can pick the nice route, the easy route. I can go to my Latin community. They would get their hair done by me, right? I don't need to speak that well English. Or I can push myself, go to a really high-end salon and just fake it till I make it. So, of course, I choose the right, not the left. I have my dad right here on my ear telling me, you cannot be average. You have to be better than that. So I walk into this salon and the lady only needs a cleaning lady. I remember it's a beautiful, huge salon. Till today, it's one of the salons that host the biggest classes and education because it's huge, has a bigger name, it's top 100 L'Oreal salon in the world. Like I'm telling you, it's a really nice salon. I would say it's the number one in Vegas. Look at this, me walking there asking for a job. Of course, I started cleaning the salon. I wasn't ready. So she was like, to be honest, I don't need anybody. I don't need an assistant. But the cleaning lady is no longer here. We need help with towels, bathroom, coffee, cleaning. She has a cleaning company that we can, but I have to maintain the whole thing, right? And I was like, I can do that. What is the problem? I would do anything that it takes to get to where I need to be. I'm humble. I work hard. And I know my place and what I deserve, right? It's just sometimes things are not going to be easy for us, right? Like my dad say, you have to work a little harder. But when I walked to the salon to clean the salon, I remember that I did full makeup. Back then, I was so into working with MAC Cosmetics. I had lashes, like I cannot even tell you, you name it. You look at me like I remember walking with the sexiest, most beautiful cleaning lady that they ever had.
Uh-huh.
Soon enough, a month working there, because my makeup was so on point 24/7. There was no any makeup artist. So a lot of the stylists were giving me on the weekends the clients for the makeup. They're like, oh my God, can you do the makeup? No, little by little, they were giving opportunities, right? Because they would go to an event. They would go to a place, whatever. They would do the hair and they're like, I think she can do it, whatever. So we book I asked the salon owner, so I would start doing that. From there, they hired a cleaning lady and I trained her and I became the salon assistant. Then I assist the owner. And the rest is history. But yes, I start in one of the biggest name. I start like I start hardcore. And then when I realized, I was like, where am I at? This is harder than I thought. Oh my God, I don't even know nothing. How am I going to be these people? The area on the salon is located is really bougie. So the clientele was white, bougie. Like, I can't even tell you. It was really hard for me, even to relate, to have conversations, to look people in the eye, to understand the American culture. Um, I remember one day I put one of the ladies' bag on the floor, and the stylist was like, "Hey, you don't know that that's a Louis Vuitton? I don't remember, or Chanel, I don't remember." And I
Yeah.
looked at his eyes, I was like, "You don't know, but I don't know who Chanel is." And I swear to you, back then I didn't know any brand. I didn't know any name. I didn't know who Kardashian was. I didn't know nothing.
Mhm.
So for me, it was really hard to relate so many times. I was like, what do you mean? It's a bag. They're like, no, you don't put that bag on the floor. So that was the kind of salon I was, imagine. So I had to like grow like a really tough skin. I say always, like my skin got really thick. I had to like, yeah.
So interesting. And are you still there? You still work at that salon? Yeah? Or no?
I mean, I was in that salon. That's the only salon I ever worked
Mhm.
until I moved. So I moved now. It's been a year and I'm in Florida. But I grew up in that salon um, as far as you guys see me today. From cleaning, from being an assistant, from being on commission. I also became a facilitator. So I helped the salon owner to host the classes. I couldn't afford all the classes, of course. So I was so much into education because the salon space was so big. Every weekend was education. You as a new stylist, you want to be part of that, but I couldn't afford it. So I was, how can I be part of all the education? She's like, oh, I need somebody to pick up the pizzas, to put the chairs on tables, to pick maybe the educator coming from Australia from the airport. I was like, I can do that. So I was constantly like humbling myself. And I still do all the time in so many ways. The other day I went to a studio with this big name company and educator, and I was there assisting. And he was like, no, I'm assisting you. I was like, no, I'm assisting you. Like I love to do things like that because that keep you grounded and that keep you real. You have to be real because at the end of the day, we are here for the same reason, right? To breathe, to live, and we are going to die one day. And we are going to be on the same hole. There is no a bigger hole for you than me, or at that time, who cares? What hole are you emptying, right? So I don't think I'm anybody. I don't think I'm bigger than anybody. And if I have to step down to make things happen for me, I do. I remember when I became the salon facilitator, I was already renting or something like that. I already had clientele. I was building, maybe on commission. And I grew so much from that education that I was taking for free. I cannot even tell you. Till today, I'm the educator that I'm today because all the education that I took. And I did a post this morning about my mentor at the salon owner, because she changed the way I see things. She was extremely humble too. And I remember Christmas, she will like make a gift for every single salon and business that was around us. That tells you who she was. Like if she was somebody that, no, I'm not thinking that I'm better. I see you, I value you. She knew her salon was the best. She knew she's making a killer. She knew she has a line of people wanting to work there, but she never felt untitled, and she never make any salon around the neighborhood feel less or not appreciated for what they do. So she would create a gift and a Christmas card saying beautiful things to everybody. I remember walking to salons and drop it off, and people look at me like, what? Did she did that? Like people couldn't believe it. So that was my mentor. And yeah.
I remember when one of the things that made me reach out to you and just really want to speak to you and hear your story is because I was lucky enough to get to take one of your classes, your curly hair classes this summer. And so you spoke on your story a little bit as you're teaching your class. And there was this moment, there were two women in the class with me. It was a full class, but there were two women in the class who were Spanish-speaking women. And you took time before the class, during the class, after class, you took time with these two women specifically and really made sure that they knew that you saw them and that you were there for them. And it just really touched me because I remember being in other classes throughout my career where I'd never seen a facilitator do that before. So I wanted you to know that I saw that and I was just so touched by that. I was so moved by that. But why is it important to you to care for other women in that way? Because I could tell that was coming from inside of you. That wasn't something that you were doing for show, or, you know what I mean? That was genuine. That was a heartfelt thing that you were doing. Why do you care so much?
Because I've been in that position. I've been in places where not only I'm not welcome, where I feel less, I feel really uncomfortable in so many ways. And the same love and compassion I have with every head that I touch and had the opportunity. If I show you my models, they are getting paid a lot of money to be my models. Like I'm telling you, I work for big companies. If I show you the message, they say things like, I have never had an experience like they had never been in a space where people care when I'm getting paid this much. And they're both on the same level for me. I've been a model. I've been a dancer. I've been in spaces when they messed up my hair because I was the only one and nobody knew. And, so I know the feeling. And I feel like that's the compassion that I have with every client, every model. When I say models, it's because models are getting paid for me to do the hair. It's different on clients, right? So that the compassion on at the same level. Even if you pay me or you're getting paid for me to do your hair, I'm going to treat you with the same value. Because at the end of the day, I know that deep on your heart, you are freaking out sitting in that chair, and no one on the past maybe gave you that experience. Like I have a model from Philadelphia. I did a class in Philadelphia. He came from New Jersey. She never ever I think she was like 20. She never had an experience in a salon. I have models sometimes that are 33 years old, almost 40 years old, and they had never been in a salon. So that is so much trauma there, right? And the same is with immigrants, with people that don't speak the language right. I didn't. I remember the first time I went to a bank, and the night before I practiced and studied, I took note, bullet point, every question and everything that I need to talk to this lady at the bank. And she made me feel so stupid. She was like she didn't understand nothing that I say. And I remember that day, I had my dad once again in my head. And I was like, I will never let anybody make me feel like that ever again. So I think that's a compassion that comes from me being on those shoes. Mm-hmm. I was in classes where I couldn't understand. I was in classes that, what they say, go around, say your name, who you are, where are you from. I could see the counting going, and I would be the next person. I would be already freaking out because I knew that I have an accent, and I knew that I had to say I'm Leysa, and I knew that I had to practice before it would get to me what I had to say. And it was so frustrating. I could be peeing on my pants. I had to go to the bathroom sometimes to throw up after. I had to say only hello, this is my name, da 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 da, I've been doing hair for this long, and you have a whole class looking at you. So I know what is that feeling. So that's why I always have compassion for people, no matter the situation, because it can be really tough for us in moments.
Yes. So we have reached the part of the episode, I call it story time with Auntie Hair Coach. So I have a couple of prompts for you, and I just want you to tell us, a quick little short story because I don't want to keep you too long. In my research of you, I found that you don't have a TV in your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So describe what a perfect day looks like to you, because clearly you're not going home and watching television. Describe a perfect day. If you're not working, how do you want to spend your day?
Oh my gosh. I'm extremely family oriented, even that I didn't grow up too much with my family. So I feel like I have a niece. Now she's 13. She doesn't like to hang out with me as much as she did in the past, but I'm always looking to something that I can do with the family. I have friends that have been with me since I was a teenager. We do things. Now I go to the beach in Vegas. I used to go hiking, walk my dog. Here I'm riding the bike. I go to the beach. Nighttime, I like to be calm. So even when family comes here, sometimes I create content. I have model. They like, oh my God, your house is so peaceful. Because I dream with my eyes open. And I think the reason I can come out with so many ideas and I can dream so well when I'm up is because the quiet of my house environment. So I love, and love the silence of nothing. And what did I do? I research a lot. On my free time, I have to leave the house to do something, even beach or friend, because I'm on the house. I'm not gonna lie, I'm working a lot. Even if I'm not physically on hair, I'm working, researching, creating, coming with better ideas. I don't like to cook. So when I want to relax, that's what I do, because I have to put so much into it because it's not natural for me. So I do cook. I love to read, research, and be outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. My husband, I also, we do have televisions in the house, but I'm not a big television watcher. And on my days off, I don't turn on the television. And my husband will come home from work. We've been married 20 years, and it still freaks him out that the home is silent when he comes home from work. I'm like, I like to hear myself think. I can't hear myself think with all this stuff in the background.
I agree.
Okay. Share with us what your first time on stage was like. And it doesn't have to be as a hairdresser, because I know you were a ballerina first. But do you remember going on stage for the first time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it was so hard. Oh my gosh. The reason that was hard, look at this. This discrimination was hard since the very beginning. I remember that I was one of the tallest on my team, on my dance team. And my mom had to she had to sew a piece on the bottom of my leotard tutu kind of thing, because they told me that I wouldn't be able to do it because I couldn't fit on any. Was me and my friend, the better way I'm gonna spend Thanksgiving with her. We all were the only Black ballerinas at that time on the whole school, pretty much. It was maybe 3 of us. And I remember that I was so traumatized because after all the hard work, I was like, how can I not be on the stage and perform? And I couldn't understand. And my mom and my dad, they're always trying to like sugarcoat things for me, then for me to have like a child innocent feeling of everything. But later on, I realized because I was Black. Later on, I realized no, because I was taller. I don't know, things like that. So for me, I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't scared in a way of my performance. I was so brain tired from the back and forward of you doing it, no, you're not doing it, you're doing it. So on the time that my mom came with the leotard and it was like perfect, they like, okay, then you do it. I came out on stage and I was just like, really? This should be the best moment of my life. And I feel like I'm not enjoying it, So that was that one. Definitely after that, I realized so many things. It was a wake-up call for sure.
Wow. Share with us your favorite memory about Cuba.
Wow. Oof, this is a tough one. And I can't even cry because I have so many bad ones on the last years that I'm like, I want to keep thinking of the good ones, But I feel like the freedom and how happy I was growing up with nothing until I touch how it is having things, How happy I was just grabbing fruit from the tree, going to the beach with no shoes with my brothers, no flip-flop, nothing, because if you go to the beach over there with nice shoes, as soon as you jump on the water, somebody's going to steal it from you. So I was, we will literally go with a swimsuit, no towels, no umbrella, no sunblock. You don't go with nothing. You put everything on the house. You drive on the way back when you walk, if you are lucky. But that, I don't know, that kind of life that was so free, no technology, things are the way they are. And it's just kind of like you live in a little bubble, right? Until you come out of the bubble, you realize how bad is your bubble. But that innocence from the sources that is in front of you, that's all you have. I think those are my biggest beautiful memories, like that, like life-free feeling of not worry about anything because that is not much,
Absolutely. When you think of future Leysa, what lessons do you hope that future Leysa has learned when you look back at this season of your life?
Time. And I don't need to think about it. I want to spend doing things that make me really happy, things that give me joy, and things that are bringing better future for others. I just don't want to eat, go to bed, sleep, wake up. I always want to contribute to society in some way. I hope that I always enjoy. I'm working really hard on that, on enjoying my life. That's the reason I moved, And I see myself on the future achieving those goals. I see myself living in another country, wake up with more simplicity, I want to live a simple life. I think when I get older, I want to get back to the simplicity that what my life was when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So maybe you guys will see me as a old lady on the top of the mountain, I don't know, in a country, weird, growing my own vegetables. I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of time and simplicity. That's what I'm looking. So time that I can spend doing things that make me really happy and simplify my life,
Absolutely. I love that for you. What exciting things are happening for you right now?
I mean, personally, I'm learning how to disconnect, be with myself, dedicate time for myself, because I feel that I work 99% of the time. I'm not kidding. I work too much. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on doing things like that, spending more time with family. It's been tough. I'm doing my best. Mm-hmm. This year, if I tell you that I haven't been home, I mean, I think I did like 8 pop-up classes, the academy, 12 hair shows, and the year have 12 months. So I'll tell you that there is some months that I didn't basically came home
Yeah.
just for 2 days. So I want that to be better. I'm not saying that it's going to happen on the future, near future, but I'm working towards that. So the Forever Cross Academy is going international for next year. We already have booked 4 countries.
That's amazing.
One of them, all tickets are sold already. So I think now with the education team that I have worked really hard this past 2 years, I can do things that I enjoy more, and hopefully I can share my passion with other countries and community. I want to do a little more charity work in Latin America. There is so many people still do hair at home because they cannot even afford transportation to work in a salon. So I want to give a little more education to those smaller areas and people that live in village and things like that. I don't know. I think that's all. It's still a lot of work, right? I'm like,
Tons
I'm
of
listening to
work.
myself. I'm like, did I say something that is fun? No. But I enjoy what I do. I'm having, you know what I mean? I enjoy so much what I do. And for me, it's so important to not feel that work, or I was like, I don't know the word in English right now. But like I said, I don't want to go to bed without contribute to society somehow, you know? And I think now that my dad passed away, I want to own my work and respect his legacy, and always remember that you don't go to bed without learning something. Oh, I'm trying to learn Mandarin. So I'm learning Mandarin as well on my free time. Yeah, that's the 3rd language in the world. So the first one is Spanish, the second one is English, and the third is Mandarin. So I already know Spanish and English, so I'm just gonna try Mandarin. I think it's good for your brain.
Wow.
And I don't know, maybe future products, negotiations, I don't know. I feel that somehow maybe I'm gonna need that language, at least to understand that no stealing anything from me if I start a negotiation.
Girl.
At least if I can have an idea of what they're talking about, I think I'm gonna
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are one fascinating woman, Leysa, and it's just, again, this is only my second interaction with you, but like passion for what you do literally oozes out of you. I know that your dad was proud, and I appreciate you for sharing your story with me.
I'm so happy to have this space to share my story. I know that it will inspire a lot of people. That's why I'm so open. And if I have a 5 minute in a class, I will share it because I know there's a lot of trauma on the Black community in the United States. It's the same trauma that is in Cuba, in so many countries in Latin America. Like I say, I teach in Puerto Rico, in Dominican Republic, on those places, and I can see. So I want to inspire. I want to do things that can elevate us to be better, to stand up taller. I feel the Black industry, beauty has changed a lot on the past 10 years. And I'm comfortable say because people like me, they share their stories, they share their knowledge openly for all of us to win. I want all of us to win. I don't want us to be seen as less. And even working now in a class that is about understanding the community. And this is something that I want to pursue and sell to companies because I think the problem starts in places like that. Now everybody want to include us, but they don't even know the trauma. They don't even know how to include in us. They don't even know what we went through. So, yeah. Thank you for giving me the space. Thank you for being you. I love connecting, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Leysa.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. If you're a beauty pro with a story to tell, or you have a stylist you'd like to hear from, you can DM me via IG at Auntie Hair Coach, or use the Contact Me form on tasha-davis.com. Or if you're feeling really spicy, send an audio message in Spotify. Whether you loved it or hated it, please leave a rating, like, and or follow, because it does something fancy with the algorithm. I'm Auntie Hair Coach. Ta-ta for now.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you could make it.